Okay, so this is for the recording. So here's what's up. The Lab 8 was going to be issued this week and due next week. I'm going to push that off. That's going to be due in 2 weeks because I need to. I'm not going to have access. I don't have access to the full internet right now, and there's slides and things that I need to. Basically, the full lab document is up on there. So we're gonna go. We'll go over the trace pieces next week. But I'm going to talk about inheritance right now, and I'll do about 30 minutes of talking about inheritance because this is going to be important. And you've used inheritance already with the Unreal Engine. It's just not. It's not like fully clear why you do it and how you do this. Let me see. So one of the things that you'll need to do is you'll need to create a new. Let's create a new folder. I'm just going to call it collection game. And in here, I'm going to create, basically start with a game mode. So game mode base is what you want. And this will be collection game mode. And I'm just going to grab the third person, grab in here. I'm going to grab the third person blueprint and copy that into the collection game. And this will be, let's call this collection. Yeah, I'll put BP in front of it. And then I'll just go right into the game mode. Bring up the details. That's what we really want. And where's the default pawn class? Here we go. BP collection pawn. So cool. So now we're using that particular class. Compile, save, and then I'm going to file and save this. Before I do that, let me go to world settings and go to set the collection game mode. Save the level. And I'll just make that the collection game. So these are the things that you would have done anyways. But we're going to have a specific game mode for our purposes right here. Another piece is that again we're going to have our own pawn for this game. The big thing in the pawn that we want is that down here we would have added. So one way we could have done it is could have been key E. Where is it? Come on. We could have used this keyboard event, which is one way to go about doing it. I'm just going to do the other. I'm going to do another way of doing this, and I'm going to go to our third person. Where's input? There we go. I'm actually going to go work. I'm going to actually play with our input. I'm going to go make an action. So I'm going to actually go in. I'm going to be. Where is it? Here we go. Input. Input action. I'm going to call it interact. And again, this is going to be a value type, essentially. It's a bool. So it's a button press, essentially. So I don't need to do anything in here. I just want to make sure. This is the interact action. So I'll save that. The next thing, now that I've created that, I just want to go into my input. And then I'm just going to go straight to default on this. This is again, again, for right now, I don't need another mapping for what we need to do. But I'm just going to go in here. And I'm just going to go add a mapping. IA interact. Open up. And I'll set that to, again, by hitting this, I can select on the key right away. So the E. look. The heck, I'll add one more mapping. In this case, not left button. I want to do the gamepad. Yeah, I'll do the left thumbstick for our purposes right now. So if I shoved in a gamepad and I pressed down on the thumbstick, it would do the interact action. So let's save everything. So the other thing that I can do, the other way to go about is to get out with the action. So that would be AI, IA, interact. I'm going to open this up. Basically, again, it has triggered, but really what I want is started. And I'm going to do a print. And this is just so to show that I've got this in play. This is going to be interact. And I could, I'm going to use the interaction, so I'm not going to use the keyboard event. This is where, this is, again, it's not that the other way is wrong, it's just hard coding what you're doing. It's basically what's going on. This is, again, using the input system. So I'll compile, dock this right here, and then we can press play and be like, hooray, interactive. So we'll next week's lecture, we'll go over the interact portion of that. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, let's go to my collection game. I'm going to create a new blueprint class, and this blueprint class is going to be of type actor. And this is going to be BP interactable. And this is going to be the parent class for all of our, so we're going to make a couple different interactable classes. In our case, right, so what's going to happen is this week I'm just going to go over one of these interactables. Then next week we'll do more. I'll do one more this week to demonstrate it. So let me go in, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function. It's going to be called on interact. And this is the function that when an interaction happens, we're going to call this function. If you notice right here, there's like this override. You can see all different things that you potentially could override. So end play, destroyed. What does it do when it's destroyed? On reset, on hit. So these are things that these are things from the actor class so far that we can get access to. But later on, when we make a child class, this will be part of that list, and it'll be listed from our the interactable class. Basically, all I want to do is basically here. Basically, I'm going to print and then I'm just going to grab. Let's see. Let's grab. Actually, let's make this to an append. And then we'll do display, get display name. And basically, this on interact in this case is, we're going to go self, get display name, append, and then print string, hooray. So the the big thing is that when we do our trace, when we do the trace, we're going to get an object. First thing that we're going to do is, hey, ask that object, are you of the interactable type? And if you are, then we know that we can do that through casting. And once we know that we are dealing with the interactive type, then we can then call on interact on that object. Pretty straightforward. So right now, because this is a backwards lecture at this moment, I am going to go in. Let's go to its viewport. Here's the scene root. What I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this as it is right now. And this, I'm going to, let me save everything. Let's go back to the content draw. And I can go create a child blueprint class. I can do that here. I can also go and create a blueprint class and ask for BP interactable. So I can do it this way as well. Either or, it's the same process. And this is going to be, I'm going to select that, and then this is going to be the BB trigger lock. This is for this week. This is not how we would actually build what we want. And the reason is that I want to actually use the trace, but I want to show the inheritance right now. So trigger walk, you can look up here. Up here, you can see parent class is BP interactable, the blueprint class we just created. And we can go down into override already. We can see there is on interact. All right, so it has active begin overlap. Okay, so these are. Let me go back. What it's showing is that in the event graph, these nodes are actually here, but they're not actually being used. Let's just delete these. So now if we go back, it's not showing those related to those. So this is the only thing that we wanted to inherit. So we can click on interact. And the first thing it does is like, hey, call the parent version. So this is the parent. So for us, the target is BP interactable. So this node basically is effectively calling this node right here. And that's perfectly fine. That's basically, so for our purposes, when we call our parent in this case, it's going to say whatever our display name has interacted. Do you need this? Not necessarily, but I'm going to leave it for right now. And for our purposes, I'm going to play a sound. And we'll use play sound at location. The location, again, the sound asset, I'm just going to use the explosion. I'll use explosion 101. And our location is going to be wherever our location is. So this is going to be self. Get world location. Okay, so they're going based on the default scene root. What's this? Scene component reference? Oh, I can just take these out and just use the scene component. There we go. So when we walk through the trigger, we're gonna play the sound. Let's go back to our viewport. Let's compile this. Let's go to our viewport. Let's just set this up quickly. This is going to be a simple trigger, so we're going to add a cube, and we'll make this a little bigger so we can see. 1.1. And I'm just going to do I use Moss today. So we have a Mossy. And then right on top of that, I'm going to add a box collision. And I'm going to make this part of the scene, attached to the scene root, not attached to the cube. And we'll just call this trigger. Again, we know 55, 50, 50, 50. And that's going to make our platform and trigger default object. We'll compile, and then let's go to the event graph. And again, you can see right here it has begin. Again, we took all of those off, so we're just going to delete all of these. So again, when we created, we had all those nodes. All of them had you know, the nodes were still in the other object, and the other piece was so we in theory could have called our begin play on our parents. Chrome popping up stuff. That's fun. Moving on. So what we want is basically a collision event on because it'd be an overlap. And this is the case where we're going to say our other actor. We're going to cast to BP collection pawn. And then if it happened, then we're going to basically grab the uninteract. So we're going to call our interact. Now this is backwards how we're going to do this in our lab. In our lab, the pawn is going to raycast the world and find object of the interactable type, and then from there call the interact. So this is because we're doing it without setting up the casting portion. Let's just jump into game, and I'm just gonna drag that into the world. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to the trigger walk example. I'm gonna add another variable. I'm gonna do a message, and this is just so we have something else that's doing something else. This will be a string. Compile, default message. How boring. And we'll make this an instance editable. We'll go back to our interact here. We'll play the sound, and then we'll just print the message. Just so that we have something that we can, you know, play with that's different at each instance. So I can go in. Let's go to our level. Make sure we save everything. And there we go. Paste. So we'll leave this one as my details. So here's the message. We'll leave this one as the default one. This will be say hello Unreal, and then can I get a suggestion for a message? Someone give me a meme or something. Gentlemen?
C++ sucks.
C++.
First thing that came to mind.
Those foreshadowing. Your next course with Unreal is with C++. We'll leave that at that. So there we go. We've got three different object, same class of object, three different instances of it. So we can go, and here's the first one. See default message, how boring. You can see that hello Unreal, and you can see the it has interacted in each one of these. In fact, we can take this another step further. We'll make another variable. This will be sound cue. What is it? This is looking for so this is a sound. So what we want is a sound base object reference. And we can go grab this and plug that into there. And then again, we're going to compile. And then it's going to look for a default value. We're going to start with explosion. We can compile. Just so that we are, I'm just put these in an interactable category, just so that they have their own category. So I'm going to compile. Make sure I save everything. We'll jump to collection game now. So here is. What I didn't do is I didn't make this instance editable. There we go. There we go. So now we can change. So here we've got. Let's go to. To say we'll do the music cue on this one, and this one we'll do window 5. There we go. We got music playing. So let me go back to this one. I'm going to just do the explosion too. But there we go. I mean, this is just by, we created a new object and we inherited from it. Now, when we come back next week for our lecture, after we do like the other objects that we are going to build, we're gonna inherit off of them. Let me we can close interactable. Let's build another one just so we get a better idea of what's going on. That's not what I want. Content draw. All right, let's make a new child blueprint class. I'll go this way this time. This is actually will be part of your lab assignment. So in this case, we're going to add a cube. And I'm going to make it 0.5, 0.5. And then yeah, well, that'll be fine for our purposes right now. Well, I'm actually gonna for collision, I'm actually gonna go and I'm gonna set the preset to make this a trigger. So that I don't have to worry about another component and whatnot. I will compile, and in this case, let's go to we'll override on interact. We're gonna play, play sound and location. Get actor location. we'll just say this is actually again the actual explosion. We'll use there should be an explosion cue. Yeah, there we go. So these are the raw audio, and this is basically a structure that Unreal has created to basically manage properties of sound. So basically, this sound cue could be playing one of these two. So we're gonna just use the cue in this case. We'll go and we'll be like spawn emitter at location. Won't play with rotation, but again, get actor location. And then this will be P explosion. And then the last thing we'll do on this one is destroy actor, which will be this actor. So this is a one and done type thing. So we'll save, go back in, and so the one thing I need to do is go back to the object itself and move it up. So let's go back to the viewport. Let's move this up, I would say 50. There we go. So I just want to basically have the bottom of the cube at the scene root. We save everything. We'll go back and see that. There it is. I'm not happy with that. Let me make another cube. And this one, I'm going to make 0.5. Is it 0? There we go. We'll do old clay, and we'll move this up to 55. There we go. All right, so it's again another platform so we can see it easier. There we go. That's not showing up. Need something darker. You know, I'm just gonna do gold. There we go. I just wanted something so I can have some sort of contrast. We will use this again next week. So if I go to it, it'd be helpful if on this, I went to the event graph, get rid of these guys again. Add event, collision. I'll just actor begin overlap. And I'll just call on interact. Let me try that one more time. Actually, let me make a couple copies. I've picked a audio sample that's not a simple sound effect, but more of an ambient piece. So be wary of what you add. But yeah, I mean, this is, you saw me basically override that on interact. And what next week when we do the raycasting portion of it, we'll basically just call that function from the pawn itself. So a lot of time we are casting because we have put. So in theory, I could create. Let's make just a blueprint, just for the sake of blueprint class. It's going to be an actor, And this is just for this week. This is not part of your assignment. But I'm just going to go in and give it a cube just so that we can see something. I'm not going to bother to texture it. But I'm going to go into, under variables, I can now create, this is going to be interactable list, and check the array. For Unity B list, here it's going to be array. And I'm basically going to go to, again, I can go to make a BP. I can type, there we go, BP interactable. So it'll be object reference, and then we'll make this into an array. And I'll make this an instance editable array. Compile, we can now save everything. Go back to the level, I can drop the holder in, put it over here. And here's that array, and I can just pick actor from the scene. Actually, I could do that. I don't need to select, but I can do, again, select it again. I already did the walkable, so this would be explode 2. Again, it's showing you only the entities that would validate are valid options under the selection, which basically, again, it's an array of BB interactable class. So again, I can now go and create, with that blueprint class, I can create things based on that. Now, because they're interactable, they all have that access to the onInteract. Now, what's going to be interesting is I'm actually going to go in. Let's do one more thing. Let's go to the event graph. Take these notes out because we don't need them. I'm going to use enter key. So I'm just use the enter key. Just this is for testing. When it's pressed, I'm do a for each loop. The array is the array that I want. And then on the loop body, I'm basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to call on interact. So it's not what we'd be doing, but you can see that I can go through the array and basically call interact on all of those objects. Now, what's going to happen is that each of the interact is going to you're going to see the version that the child has implemented. That's what override is going to do. So when you override a class and you call that when you override a function and a child has overridden it, it's going to use the version of the function that the child has implemented. That's why we go back to explode. In fact, there's the onInteract. I'm going to go back to the onInteract here. In this case, I'm actually going to take out the parent version. So when you see, so when I hit return this now, you're not going to see any text on the screen from the explosions one. But you'll see the interact. I actually should do it the other way around. Let me save this one. Compile. Yeah. Let me go back. Let's go, because I'm doing a message here already. Let me take out the parent version of this one. All right. So when I hit return, you're going to see three different messages from each of the objects. And then you're going to see the other three, the explosions one, going to go up in smoke, and each saying they've interacted printed on the screen. So let's compile. And there is a critical flaw. Can this object take it? No. So I need to enable player one. So right now this object was not taking any inputs. So I have to override that. Again, this is not what you would normally do. Um, but this is just, again, for example purposes right now. So now that object, if I hit return, you can see these three messages. They played their sound. This is still playing its sound. And then the three object over here went up in smoke. Let's do that one more time. Well, just for the sake of argument, let's go down here. I'll do duration of 10, and we'll make this red so it shows up easier. Compile, and then for the sake of arguments, let's go to the interactable. I'll make this green, darker green. There we go. Let's go to straight 0.4. There we go. And then we'll make the duration 10 as well. So we can, so this is again to make this so it will last longer on the screen. I'll compile, save everything, press play, and then let me get everyone on screen. So you can see that. Let me change the sound effect on this one. Do I have? No, I don't have them downloaded. Not in here. Okay, yeah. I thought I might have had some WAV files downloaded from another class. I don't have them. So I'm just gonna make this just for the sake of argument, I make this a explosion queue as well. So we're not. There you go. Press play. Again, we'll hit return. So again, you can see that there are all the messages. You can see that the ones, the interact from the base class are in green, and the ones from the explosions, the ones that are doing messages are in red. And you can see that by taking out the parents, we remove that previously it was saying has interacted and then printed the message. Again, we can by calling the parent, we can refer back to what we have used and extend what it does, or we can just throw out what the parent does and do whatever we want. And there's a lot of cases where that's okay. Parent does implement something, and then we'll just throw it out and re-implement it in a different way for the child. That's okay. It depends on your situation. You can use what the parent does. You can leverage what the parent does. You can leverage, you do it completely different, or use what the parent does and then extend it to what you want to do. One of the big things again. So one of the and give you an idea of where we can go with this. We'll make a child class that's going to be an elevator, and then we'll make another child class that is basically an elevator call. So the idea is that the elevator starts at its starting location and it moves to another location, and we can define that other location in that elevator object. The thing that we're going to do is basically we're going to go make that elevator. We're going to go up to the top of it. We're going to make a cube. It's going to be big, and we're going to go to the top of the cube. If we're on top of the cube, how do we call the elevator to come back? Well, we'll make an object that will call the elevator back up. The other object will literally be will be designed to work with the elevator to call it back up.
So there'll be an event basically like raise lift, which on Interact basically just calls that. And the other object will be linked. We'll have a variable for the other elevator. We'll check if it's a valid reference, and then we'll call on raise lift on from that other object. We'll do that next week. Do we? Yeah, we'll do that next week with our lecture. The key piece that I want to make sure you understand is when we inherit, the child class is of its parents' types. And remember, BP Interact will inherit it from actor. So all of our children classes are also actor classes too. So if we want an array of actors, we can throw an array of array of actors. If we look at our pawn class, it inherits from character. We know that so it is of type character class. We know that character inherits from pawn. So we know that this is a type that can be controlled by the player. And then because they're pawns, they inherit from actor automatically as well. So if we want to throw them in a list of actor classes, we can do that as well. Yeah. Well, 90% of what you're going to do is going to be, 90% is what you're going to do is going to come off actor class unless you're doing UI. Then it's HUD class, and then it's the user widget. And I remind you that those are the two classes. There is a technology debt with Unreal. There's a particular way of doing things. There's things that have happened over time. Like, again, we talk about having a game mode class, but it's really coming off of game mode base. Why is that? Because this is when UDK. So this was Unreal Engine 3.5 when that was released to the public. It came with an Unreal Tournament demo. So it came with the player, the rocket launcher, and I think the pistol. It came with like 3 weapons. And that was the demonstration of Unreal Engine with using a cut down version of Unreal Tournament. At some point, they wanted to keep. There was a lot of functionality built into the game mode that was Unreal Tournament specific. So they split the class between game mode and game mode base. And so anything that was Unreal Tournament specific remained in game mode base. No, sorry, remained in game mode. And then all the rest of the functionality got moved down into another. So basically, game mode base is the parent of game mode effectively for Unreal Tournament. So yeah, it's technology debt. This was like over a decade ago when they made that change. So is there anything you guys want me to go over before we talk about anything else before I end the recording here?